Going on, guys, we've got the crooked camera arm. We've got the 80 series 1FZ is back. So this has been a bit of an ongoing thing for a while. I didn't make any footage when it was first came back, but as you guys saw, we did a new hot side on this thing. It made like 320 or 330 horsepower or something, finally making the sort of power it probably should be making, and sent him on his way. It was all well and good for a while, but after a while it just started blowing water out. Just water out everywhere. So come to find, when we started inspecting and checking, really low compression. And what it was the head that was on the engine, because those of you who remember when we first pulled this motor down, absolutely cooked. It had been so cooked, it wasn't funny. And what it had done is the head was soft from being so hot. And obviously while it had the old turbo set up on it, wasn't making heaps of power, didn't have heaps of cylinder pressure, it was okay. As soon as we put the new hot side on it and actually started making some power, it was, you know, enough cylinder pressure that soft head started to, basically the head started to lift and squish on the studs on the washers, and it peened over all of the head stud holes. We had to get creative getting all the head studs out, and basically, yeah, it just shortened the head pretty much. It squished the head because it was so soft, and after that it wasn't sealing and it cooked. So we sent down this head to the machine shop. We sent down the head off our spare motor to the machine shop. Both of them cooked, too soft. Had to end up buying a brand new head. Bought a brand new head for it. Now it's getting Kelford cams, valve springs, and a fresh head. So trying to get this back together. So now it's going to be cammed as well with a fresh head that's not going to cause any dramas and this hot side. So keen to see how this thing goes now. Hopefully we'll get a bit more power out of it. The next thing that was limiting this, apart from valve springs, was the coil. Definitely probably needs a high energy coil, but we'll talk to the owner about that. But yeah, basically it's either going to, now it's not going to be running out of valve spring, it's probably going to run out of spark energy is probably what's going to happen. But anyway, it's back. We finally got the head back from the machine shop. Like I said, it's been an ongoing thing, so just starting to clean everything up. Both starting to work it all out, get it cleaned up. We'll get this new head on with new cams, new valve springs, and yeah, get this thing on its way and back out of our lives for a while. Righto, boys and girls, big 80 rig is now back together. Fresh head, fresh cams from Kelford, new valve springs, all the things that were limiting it before, apart from ignition. So the original plan was to get this back together, do the ignition upgrade with the cams and everything, try and actually make a bit more power. In the meantime, once we got the head back on, started getting this motor back together, the owner pretty much decided that he did no longer have the budget to do anything like that, and pretty much just told us, put it back together, tune it. That's all the budget he's got for it. So unfortunately, it means that we are likely, we should hopefully make just a little bit more power being the cams, but we're still going to be limited by this ignition, we predict. We're pretty sure it was out of spark before, which means we're probably going to be out of spark at around the same level, maybe just a little bit more with the extra flow of them cams, we'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, still, due to budget constraints, not going to get finished the way that we would really like to. Seems to be an ongoing theme lately, but anyway, it is what it is. So that's that. We'll get it on the dyno. Bo was just fixing a little exhaust leak that we had from a joint a bit further back in the exhaust, which must have developed while the car was running prior to it coming back to us. But regardless, we'll see what it does on the dyno, and that'll be that. Alright guys, so we're making some progress on this thing on the dyno. It has been a bit of a saga. There were a few dramas yesterday, which we were a bit worried about, but it just ended up being a combination of stale old fuel in the tank that's obviously been in there for a little while, and then plugs that needed to be gapped down a little bit more for this single coil ignition. But now we've got that sorted out, we're looking pretty good with this thing. Still a fair bit to go obviously, but it's revving out a lot higher now. It's a lot happier to rev. We're making more power at less boost. I think we made about 314 last time on about 14 pound. We're currently making 327 at 10. So much happier with these cams and these valve springs. I think these valve springs particularly allowing it to actually rev out. I think obviously between ignition and valve springs last time it was just sort of nosing down, but it seems much happier. So it is making a real weird tapping noise. Nothing to do with the engine or anything like that or anything that we've done. But we're still trying to figure out where this noise is coming from and diagnose it. It seems to be, it's something speed related, so it's either going to be a brake or diff or something like that, or tail shaft. Seems to only happen on diesel. It's a bit of a weird one. But anyway, engine wise, this new combo seems to be responding and pretty happy. So that's a good good way to be going. Hopefully we get a decent result out of this. Guys, we've got some results. So this pink run's where it left last time, and you can see where it was starting to get ignition breakup and or valve float. Could have been either or. The way it behaved, like they both behave very similarly. So it could have been both. Could have been either. Could have been both. Gonna lean with valve springs, considering the fact that valve springs seem to have fixed the issue along with cams. Much happier now. Revving out much harder now. So we've got two boost maps. We've got high and low boost. As you can see, not making a huge difference in peak, but way more mid-range. I think with this big 4.5 litre, we probably are just starting to get towards the end of this G35. Probably would want to go a G40 to go much further anyway. That being said, I'm surprised we got this far with the standard ignition anyway. I think it's quite a good result for a single coil ignition setup. Now this is obviously the same hot side as the 105 was, but the 105 was a 4.8 and the 105 actually had the next size up cams. So these are slightly smaller cams than the 105 had. And it made somewhat similar power. I think it was about the same, about that 340. But this, with this air-to-air cooler setup, is slightly lower IAT, which I think is probably making the biggest difference, because that was our biggest drawback with the 105, was just IATs. That's where we had to pull it up because of IAT, whereas this thing's a little bit happier, a little bit more air density in it. But yeah, that's the end of this thing with this ignition setup. It's all happy days now. Hopefully no more dramas with this thing. Hopefully that's it. So fingers crossed, that's the last of that. We'll do a quick bit of street tuning, but it's just got a CompuShift to control the A344, whatever the hell they are. A442, yeah. So
if I remember right.
Yeah. So it's just that's the other thing, is this is auto. The 105 was manual, so that's something to consider as well. But anyway, it's got a CompuShift in it to control the gearbox. There's not a lot to do with street tuning. Just basically make sure the engine's doing everything we want it to do while we're street driving, and that's that. So happy days. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out. See you. Bye.